All right. It's a Deadmanstome podcast with your hosts, Mr. Deadman, Becky, and SK. How are you guys doing? Y'all doing all right? Just a Monday.
It's Monday.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh, it's mutual. It is mutual. Oh God, it's rough. I'm feeling it myself, but I got some announcements. Got some important announcements to make. First, Mr. Deadman Made Me Do It is finally out for everybody. You can get it on. You go over to Amazon, you get a paperback, or for your Kindle. It's a collection of brutal short stories of demented kids, suicidal maniacs, a blood-crazed Catholic schoolgirl. Good stuff.
Also, and for legal reasons, it has to be declared fiction.
Yes, fiction. It's themed around a Mr. Deadman, but I don't know who this Mr. Deadman is. It may be me, may not be me. I don't know. I have no idea. Call for subs. We're calling for submissions for an anthology called Satan is Your Friend. We're looking for short stories of ritualistic sacrifice and pure Satanism. Wow. We're going there.
That's going to be dark.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God, I actually have the start of a story that could work on that.
See?
Becky's read it.
Get to writing it.
You write it.
Good, too.
I swear, when we get this issue out with Satan is Your Friend, we gotta mail that out to churches all across America. Can you imagine if we just send that to like a church? The coverage
Put it in
the
the
media.
hotel. See if you can get it distributed with the Gideon Bible.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. I love that idea. We're also looking for submissions for Dark Side Phil. This is a horror anthology. Maybe, may not be based on Dark Side Phil, the notorious lolcow. If you don't know who he is, well, you'll find out. And also looking for submissions for an anthology called The Florida Man, based on, well, The Florida Man. And we always have the deep fried horror.
And woman.
Florida Man and women, that's right. We got a bit
equal opportunity, whatever.
Yeah, equal opportunity Florida's whatever.
Yeah, equal opportunity Floridians. Floridians.
That's how you say it. So that's the new word for that's a new way of saying retarded now. Got it. Florida Man. Ooh, I'm sorry. My apologies. We're on YouTube. I forget sometimes. I'm sorry. But we always have an open call for deep fried horror. So you can submit to that. If you want to check out the submission guidelines, just go to deadmanstome.net and you'll find it there. Okay. Last thing I have to say is the private show coming out this Saturday. Let me just put it to you this way: if you enjoy watching me embarrass myself, humiliate myself, then you want to see this. My wife is going to give me shots of random liquids, not just alcohol, but random liquids. And people are suggesting things like pickle juice. Someone suggested eggs. This is going to be horrible, but it's going to be for you guys and ladies. Okay?
I think raw clams.
I'm going to punch myself.
How are you going to drink a raw clam?
You swallow it like you would a liquid. I swallowed a raw clam once, 2 or 3 times. I had to swallow it like 3 times to get it to stay down. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my God.
Gross.
It is. If you were to imagine swallowing somebody else's cold, thick green loogie. That's exactly what it's like.
I will take a hard pass on that. But
you don't get to pass.
But if it's something in the shot roulette, then I'll have to drink it because that's the game.
That's right.
That's the rules of the game. So if it's something my wife hands me, I'll have to drink it. But to watch this, you have to be a patron now, okay? It's this Saturday, June 15th at 9:30 p.m. You got to be a patron. Just go to patreon.com/deadmanstome. It just takes $1, but that's probably the best dollar you spent like this whole month, maybe your whole year. Because you're going to see me embarrass myself, practically puke, vomit. I guarantee you I'm going to vomit. It's going to happen.
But we see that every weekday.
Do you? Do you?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Come on. So yeah, if you're listening right now, if you're in the chat, definitely do that. Don't do it right now. Don't leave the stream right now. Open another window, I guess. But yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all the announcement here. The other thing I could say is, yeah, I know we're covering a serious topic here.
Deep fried horror.
Yeah. Oh, the deep fried horror. What the Father's Day anthology, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's out.
It is out. You can get it, and the paperback is out as well. You could actually read it for free
big
on
and
Patreon,
beautiful.
or you can actually get a paperback on Amazon. So it is nice. It is probably it has like what 10 stories, 11. It has a bunch of stuff in it, a bunch of content.
It has 16 stuff.
16
things in it.
16. Wow.
It's packed full.
It is.
And the stories in it are great.
Let it be the Father's Day issue that it's. Check that out. The Father's Day issue is bigger than the Mother's Day.
Awesome.
You know why that is, Becky?
Oh, Lord, here we go.
You know why that is, Becky? Can you guess why?
Because men ramble? I don't know.
Oh, I thought. I'm sorry.
Because it didn't take us as near as. It didn't take women nearly as many words to say what they wanted to say as it did y'all. I don't know.
I think
y'all wouldn't take directions.
I'm sorry. Don't know. I'm sorry. I think it's because it looks like the men work harder. Got more stories in there. I'm just messing with you, Becky. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Let me tell you a true story from my college days.
Uh-oh.
There was an article in the college newspaper.
Yeah.
Written by the women's athletic director, where she talked about the differences between the men and women's intramural athletic programs, right? Not the scholarship level shit. But she said, you want to start a intramural league for guys, you put up a poster and they show up. And if you want to do that for the women, you have to talk them into it and explain why they should do it.
Wow. See? Just like that, Becky. Just like that.
Said the women's athletic director.
What do you say about that?
Well, probably true, but that's because women have 500 other things that we have to do in addition to.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. There's 500 other things you got to think about it, dude.
Right?
The college girls have 500 more things to do.
Yes. There's a joke in that too.
It took them too long to put on their makeup. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be it.
That is true. That is true. And sometimes they don't put on
their hair was messy.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that happens. That happens too. Oh man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a heavy episode for you tonight. We're gonna be debating the death penalty. And see, I try to market this show as something fun and entertaining. So the question is, how are we going to make it fun and entertaining? Well, I'll tell you how.
Just give away a free death penalty.
Yes. Yes. If you dial this number I'm about to give you, I'll go over to your house.
Get the 10th caller.
No. Like, you already know the
words.
Are you
giving out Nikki's phone number again?
Yeah. The Italian Boomhauer. I will give out your phone number to him. No. Oh, God, that would be horrible.
Oh. Oh yeah, please. We're not doing that to our
Look,
viewers.
I'll just put it this way. I'm gonna say some crazy stuff. You already know it. So don't get offended. If you are offended, there's something I say that bothers you, you can always send me your feedback at Mr. Deadman DT or send an email. I may read it. I might not. It is what it is. I'm not gonna have any hard feelings about it. We're just gonna have fun. But we are gonna talk about it. But I think before we do so, I think we need to talk about some positivity. Spread the positivity before we get into this. I think we have you got an article about dodgeball, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about that before we get into the the murderous stuff with the death penalty.
Okay. Whiny researchers slam dodgeball as a tool of oppression.
What?
Yeah. These researchers were clearly last picks. Forget war, famine, and disease. The real tool of oppression, at least according to 3 Canadian researchers, is dodgeball.
Well,
the message is that it's okay to hurt and dehumanize the other person.
It is okay to dehumanize the other person. We're playing dodgeball. You're playing a sport. What the fuck? It's a sport, goddammit.
Yeah.
You know what? That attitude is in every single competition. Every single motherfucking competition. Yeah, in a way, I guess you dehumanize. But
Beat
not really.
them, kill them,
yes,
destroy them.
Yes.
Them.
Smack them in the face with the dodgeball.
Yes, yes. Every single fucking
induce a mild concussion in your opponents. That's the objective of dodgeball, by the way.
Yes, pretty much. Hit him right in the head.
Give them enough of a headache. Give them enough of a headache that they quit.
That's how you win. That's get them to tap out. Force that.
And even still, it's better than boxing.
Oh yeah. Much more entertaining because people are actually hitting.
Dodgeball's funny.
People are actually hitting. People are actually getting hit in dodgeball. And boxing is like, what am I watching here? I mean, sometimes it's like
they're dancing.
Yeah,
you know, Howard Cosell, the legendary sportscaster, he was a huge boxing fan, but he ended up kind of denouncing the sport, saying it's the only sport whose objective is to cause brain injuries.
Right.
Yeah.
And other sports you might get brain injuries as a result of playing the sport, but boxing has that as its purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could probably say that as like MMA as well. Oh, of course, like UFC stuff.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
We're
talking about fighting
variations on a theme.
Yeah. When you get into that, you're definitely gonna. If you're coming out, God, you're gonna retire early or get brain damage. I mean. God, that can't be good for you. But we still haven't made any comments on the fact that this is Canadian researchers that are saying this about dodgeball.
I wondered how long it was going to take you before you said something about that.
How is dodgeball even legal in Canada? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. I didn't think it was. I thought it was.
How is competition legal in Canada?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
competition is bad.
They couldn't have found anything better to research.
No, they needed to. People needed to explain why they were never picked for teams.
Mm-hmm. Which tells you something about these articles. Okay, these articles you read that say, "Oh, this or that is this or that." When they try to smear something, it's coming from a personal place. When someone says,
absolutely is. Yeah,
it's a grievance. It's a grievance article. It's just clickbait from grievance.
Somebody has been butthurt enough over some situation that they spend years of their lives developing the professional credentials to go and find a way to make the perpetrators look bad. I mean, how petty do you have to be to do that? To go into a field specifically to research a subject because you had your feelings hurt in, third grade.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that's what modern research is full of.
Mm-hmm. And one thing, the other thing that's interesting about this is, from what I hear, I believe dodgeball might be the form of like death penalty over there in Canada. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. I can't argue that. I don't live in Maple Land, but I do know that here in America, We used like how many states actually still have the death penalty, Becky? I have no idea. I'm curious about that now I'm curious about stats. Now I'm curious.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That there are only 9 states that have averaged at least one execution per year since the death penalty was reinstated in 1976.
Okay, this Texas still has death penalty,
and
right?
only 4 of those have averaged 2 or more executions per year during that time period.
Oh, I need to up
and
it.
those were Texas.
Okay, how many in Texas?
Those were Missouri, Oklahoma, Virginia, and Texas.
Oh, sweet, yes. But you need to up that number up. You need to get it up there. Come on, how many people do you have in death row? I mean, how hard is it to kill a motherfucker? Okay, how hard is it to kill a motherfucker? It's not very hard. Just take them out back. Old Yeller them. I mean, easy. You don't have to spend money on a cell. Come on, what? We're gonna use our tax money to give them like free housing?
The flowers on the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there might just, I don't know, be 1 or 2 problems with that approach.
What's
in
the problem,
the real world?
Oh, what's the problem?
The problem is that the biggest problem with that approach is that an ever-growing percentage of death row inmates are being exonerated with new DNA evidence.
Yeah, that happens. We need to come faster. Damn it.
What are you going to do? Just say, whoops.
Oops.
We fucked up.
We fucked up. We fucked
figure
up.
Out they didn't do it.
What happened was, back in the 90s, we thought, something happened, and they said it was a Puerto Rican. So we found a Puerto Rican. And they were like, that's the person. We put him on death row, and like, now he's free? What? But you know. Yeah.
There are 20. There are 29 states that have the death penalty. Would you like to know who they are real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana. Huh?
We're listing states that have the death penalty?
Yeah.
Yes.
California has a death penalty?
Yeah. Isn't that odd?
Yes.
That is interesting.
It's pretty fascinating, I think.
Yeah. They're not using it, though. They're not using it.
Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming.
Oregon.
Wow.
Oregon. I mean, let that sink in for a second. Fucking Oregon.
Yeah. I can see it.
There are 3 of those states where the governors have placed restrictions on the use of the death penalty. Those are California, Oregon, and Pennsylvania.
Okay. These are nice stats. But I think it's time we get into this debate here. I mean, what do you think?
Well, don't you think that you should say whether you're for it or against it?
Oh, yeah, that's what I would say when we start. So I would say, I know we have a problem sometimes. We're joking, talking over each other. We've got to be careful of that. Everyone's going to have to say so. This is not some sort of like time debate. We're not giving 10 minutes to each person. It's not that. Okay? But we're going to have a fun back and forth.
This is not Marcus of Queensbury.
Yeah.
And Jesse does not get to use the mute button on me.
No. Okay. I promise.
We don't have to. We could just ignore you, Becky.
I know. Y'all do.
All right, let me pour out some more scotch.
My first proposition is, can you be for dodgeball and against the death penalty?
Yeah.
No.
Because according to this research, the people who play dodgeball are evil, So obviously, if you're evil enough to play dodgeball, then you'd have to be in favor of the death penalty, right?
Yeah. And stomping babies, like right on babies.
And putting puppies in blenders.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
Those things are all connected.
The brand of scotch is Brook Laddie. It's the classic Laddie. It's this one right here. That's all right. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. Anyway, that was to answer Patty in the chat. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely for it. I'm for the death penalty. I don't see a problem with it. But I say that, but it's not for everybody. What I mean is, like, if
find out if death penalty is for you.
If someone kills one person, maybe they should spend some time in prison. You kill two people, you know what? We might have to put you down. Because, I mean, you just killed two people right there. I mean, especially if there's video evidence. Oh, you know what? Should we just all say, like, where we stand and go into, like, how or why and all that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm definitely for the death penalty. I'm definitely for it.
No, you want to put it in an express lane.
Yep. I want to do it and get rid of the lethal injection. We could just do it out back with a shotgun.
Oh my God.
People love this.
Are you volunteering to pull the trigger?
I'll do it. Make tough calls. You know?
You will not.
Oh, I so would. See, we have all these people housed in death row because people can't make tough calls. Make tough calls. You got to make tough calls. Now, you might make a bad call. That happens. You know?
And how would you feel if you figured out that later down the line, somebody that you pulled the trigger and decided to make the tough call wasn't guilty?
I blame the judge. He made the ruling.
Can't blame the judge. He just pulled the trigger.
I blame the jury and the judge and the lawyers and all that stuff.
And the gun and
there's so many people. No. See, I'm just doing my job at that point. Okay, I put a motherfucker down based on what I know. If it turned out that it was wrong intel, then you have to just adjust. Okay. You just have to adjust. Otherwise, you're going to wreck yourself mentally. You're going to go into some deep-seated depression. You're not going to be any good for anyone. That's not good. You got to have positive vibes. You got to stay positive. Oops, made a mistake. Next one. Give him some flowers in the mail.
You got to go into your job. You have to go into your job singing the Seven Dwarfs work song, right?
I like what Kaio said in the chat. Compensation for the family wrongful death. I like that. Give him compensation. Give him some money. Give him a check.
How much are you going to give him?
Here's the thing.
It's not coming out of my pocket. I'm the executioner.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's coming out of the state's pocket. It's coming out of the state's pocket.
Who's the state?
Well, I'm just one person in the state.
You pay taxes, dork.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm still getting paid because I'm employed by the state. This is the state's paying for it.
But here's the issue with compensation for wrongful death, and that is determining if it was really wrongful. I mean, the only way you can get compensation for a wrongful conviction even is if the state deliberately fucked you over.
Right.
If the state did their job to the best of their ability and played by the rules, and your defense did the best that they could do and played by the rules, and the evidence just was against you, even though you're innocent, you don't have a recourse for suing the state in that case. The only chance you have for suing is if people deliberately hosed you and got you convicted when when there was clear evidence that you were not guilty.
Okay.
And in that case, you should own a city afterwards.
Yeah. Good luck with that, though. Probably give you $5. Here you go. Here's a gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I tell you what, juries get really pissed off at that shit. Juries do not like malfeasance on the part of the judicial system, and they will slap them hard.
Good.
And they have.
Good. And I'm for that too. I don't want people to be wrongfully accused.
Part of this. No. And that's just the entire justice system is fucked in the head on this one point. Mm-hmm. And that is
on a lot of points.
Well, I'm going to talk on one specifically, and that is that this mentality of getting a conviction versus getting the right conviction.
Oh yeah, they're under pressure. They have to get their case closed.
Right. The car salesman has less pressure to meet their quotas for the month.
That's true.
Right.
The cops and the DAs, they're judged by numbers, raw fucking numbers.
They got a quota,
and they need to They got quotas. If they got enough open cases hanging around, they get marked down and can lose their jobs.
That is true.
So they're incentivized to convict any fucker they can get their hands on, and win a conviction.
Imagine they had Judge Dredd's. Imagine they had that program. Imagine them with a quota. They're like, all right, Judge, you're behind your quota of deaths right here. You got to fulfill that. I mean, come on, crazy.
Right, and they're just like, well, we're just doing our job. Well, yeah, but fucking system is perversely incentivized. The incentive goes against the best outcomes for the populace.
Yeah, I can see that. It does. I mean, that does happen. I'm not saying.
And because of that, you're going to get. Well, back in my naive grade school days and shit, and junior high, there was teachers talked about how our judicial system was designed so, under the premise that it's better for 100 guilty men to go free than for one innocent man to go to prison.
Yeah, I hear that argument too. Now, of course,
and I kind of believe that, right? No innocent man should go to prison, or, the occasional woman.
Yeah, right.
But the problem is that the system is actually not set up the way that it was taught to us in school. It's set up to find somebody that they can get enough evidence on to secure a conviction.
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck who it is.
Okay, so just to make sure we're on the same page, or make sure where we are. So I'm definitely for death penalty. Becky, where are you at right now? Are you for or against it?
I'm against it.
Okay, SK, where are you? Are you for or against death penalty?
In principle, I'm in favor of it, but in practice, I think it's set up all wrong.
Okay. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's have the death penalty. We can revise the program. We can make it better. Okay. There's problems. Look, there's problems in the justice system. A bunch of problems that we're not gonna be able to talk about here, really, to fix. But
right. There's also problems with the actual execution methods.
Well, that too.
Lots of problems with that.
That can be solved as well. Guns work. I mean, there's people who kill people for free. I mean, they don't have any problems doing it. They use fucking knives, guns, ropes, what have you. I mean, the lethal injection is like, what? Okay, let me tell you. Let me clarify something. Okay, joking aside. Look, I'm not saying if you kill someone. I'm not saying if you were convicted of murder, you should just be murdered. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like, if
not directly eye for eye.
Yeah, not a direct eye for eye. Okay, but I'm saying if it is a case where a motherfucker goes into, let's say, a geriatrics facility, an old folks' home, and just shoots up a bunch of grandmas and grandpas, okay, and maybe rapes their corpses too because he's a degenerate fuck, and somehow the cop didn't put a bullet in his head, and there's video camera footage of this, surveillance footage of this, yeah.
Indisputable evidence.
Yeah. Why even bother locking him up? What is that going to do? Rehabilitate him? How? Why don't you just put a bullet in his head and call it a day? After he's convicted. No, you're not. After he's convicted.
Well, because he could become an artist and write children's books one day.
Who wants? After he killed a bunch of grandmas and grandpas? Oh, I don't. No.
I'm being facetious because that's an argument that a lot of anti-death penalty people make is, oh my God, but he's all reformed and he's writing children's books and going to church and shit. So he so don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't kill him. It's like, I don't give a fuck. How I see it. I don't give a fuck if he's found his artistic self somehow in prison. Well, that doesn't take away anything from what he did.
It really doesn't. Right. Of course, I'm laying out a very extreme scenario, right? It's like, okay. I mean,
well, you don't have to use grandmas and grandpas. You could use, like, I don't know, school shootings.
Yeah, and we get plenty of them here in America. It seems like every month there's at least one or two. You get some motherfucker go in there and shoot up kids. Sometimes, usually, they kill themselves because they fucked up.
Yeah, but if they should start with themselves.
They should start. That's their problem. They're not starting with themselves, and they just go out and they start. Yeah. When you have that, when you have someone who's killing kids, if you have that sort of disregard for human life, where you're just killing multiple victims, you're taking multiple victims, even kids, then I'm like, then what's the point of even keeping you in a cell? Because that just, where I stand, I'm like, we're just keeping you in a cell because someone doesn't have the balls to pull the trigger. Well, that's
possibly true. I mean, it's extraordinarily rare to have a case that is that solid, airtight. There's a lot of talk about airtight cases, but there's really almost no cases airtight. That's why lawyers warn you against getting involved in a lawsuit, because you just never know what'll happen. Mm-hmm. Once you get in the court, anything can happen. And so, it could seem like a ton of, just like a mountain of evidence, and you could still lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like OJ. I mean, it's like, well, what happened that night? Did he kill her or did he not kill her?
I don't know. Honest to God, I watched the whole trial. And when it went to the jury, I said, I don't know if he did it or not, but I know that the prosecutors did not make the case.
Oh no, they dropped the ball.
Fucked up.
They fucked up.
They fucked up. If I was on that jury, I would not have convicted him.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Under my system, though, because everyone gets one. I don't know if I made that clear. Under my system, if it was my system, everyone gets
one free murder?
Everyone gets one free murder. I mean, it's not free. You're still doing time, okay? You're still doing time.
Oh, no. Give everybody one. Let's, hand out a ticket, a pass.
Let's do that. Everyone gets one free murder. Because think about it.
One free murder.
Oh, my God.
Think about what would happen.
Non-transferable.
Think about what would happen in society if everyone knew everyone has one free murder. Oh, man.
Wouldn't that really change society in some very interesting ways?
It would be really bloody.
There would be a lot less road rage.
Oh, but if you get two now, if you get two murders, no. Now you're going in. Now you're doing time. If you get three, oh no, we're putting you down. No, you're going too far. You're going too far. You go 4? Oh, we're putting you down right there on the spot. Oh, you know? You like this? Becky, you think about this?
I think I just got the basis of my next story. One free murder.
One free murder. Is it a self-help book?
It's going to be our next anthology. You just know it is.
It'd be funny if it was a follow-up to SK's self-help book. One free murder.
Oh, fuck.
Start your best life now. Oh my God.
Now, what did you ask me? What do I think about all this?
Yeah. What do you think about this so far? Okay, so everything I've said, how does it jive with you? Because I know you are against it. So let's get into this.
Well, there's a reason why I'm against it. I mean, there's probably quite a few reasons. And it has nothing to do with, they can be reformed, because I don't think that those people can be reformed. And that's part of the problem with the prison system is, when they put people in jail that have committed murder or whatever, and they release them 30 years later and they do it again, and everybody's surprised. Well, no shit, they're going to do it again. They didn't get any kind of help or anything. So, whatever. But what they did is so horribly heinous that we have decided as a society that they need to be locked up or put to death. Then how does that make us any better than what they did? Because they decided that somebody should die for whatever reason they had.
Okay.
And so now we're deciding whether they should die or not. And that's just not a decision personally that I want to make.
Okay, so let me ask you
this. In which case you would never be on that jury and be put
in that. Correct.
You would not be put in that position, which is fair. That's a reasonable thing. If you and they actually asked people that question during jury selection. Yes. And if you say, I could never give somebody the death penalty, then you're just out. And that's right. Perfectly acceptable and reasonable. And
when I say that I'm against the death penalty, I'm against the death penalty personally. Meaning I could not do it. I could not say that it's okay for me to agree to kill someone else, because it's wrong. Call. Period. I don't care.
Well,
2
wrongs may not make a right.
However, I also have a problem with the fact of I know how many prisoners have been on death row or in prison for life, and then later we figure out that they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so then what do you do if you kill them? Whoops.
Well, that's kind of what it is. It's kind of like
it has in fact happened, Becky. It has in fact happened that people who have been executed have been exonerated posthumously. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the biggest tragedies in our entire judicial system, are those types of people.
I agree.
Now,
I agree, and that scares me. I mean,
and it should be. It's not a thing to take lightly in any degree. It is a irreversible decision.
Right.
Okay, but that's why
I don't mean the conviction. I mean the carrying out of the
right.
Conviction.
Executing the order.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Under my plan, like it would have to be, like when I say undeniable evidence, I'm saying like the evidence is like we're talking about. First, we're talking about a crime that's so heinous. So like we're talking about like multiple victims, maybe even kids. Okay, they've killed a bunch of 5-year-olds at school, and he caught it on surveillance. Okay, that person gets convicted. Let's say he gets convicted, right? All right.
Let's if you want to make it a perfectly, you know, indisputable case, throw in a confession as well.
Yeah, and he confessed. He's like, you know what? I did it. Okay, at that point, what I'm saying, in a situation like that, just kill him. Because what else? Why not? What is the argument there?
Because confessions can be coerced.
Well, yes.
Okay, hold on, Becky, hold on.
Misconstrued and
let's combine that with the other evidence in this particular case. In this case, let's say he confessed. You see him on camera.
Let's say in this one case, we know absolutely that it was not coerced.
Yeah,
like
it was not coerced.
He walks in, sits down, and volunteers, which has actually happened on a couple of occasions. Very rare, but it has happened.
Okay, keep going because I'm still going to tell you no, and I can tell you why.
Well, okay, so he didn't.
I'm just trying to.
I know.
I'm just trying to get Jesse's hypothetical situation as
perfect as you can.
As unrealistically perfect as possible.
And you see him on camera. Right. You see him on camera, and he's gunning down the 5-year-olds right there. He's smiling about it. He's like giving thumbs up next to the dead bodies. I don't know, maybe he's teabagging the dead bodies. The guy is doing it. Okay, you see him. He confessed he did it, and he's like, I would do it again. And in fact, if I go out right now, if I had a gun right now, I'd be shooting up all you guys. This is the guy. Okay, my argument would be, you could spend taxpayer money to lock him up, but for what? Like, he's not gonna be reformed. You're just locking him up forever, I guess. Or you could spend like the money for a bullet, take him out back after he's convicted, and put him down.
Well, because I'll tell you one very solid legal reason why you can't do that, and that is because people have a right to appeal.
All right, he gets like, I mean, how long? How long does it take to an appeal?
The problem that does take a long time to get your appeals as far as they can possibly go. Very rarely, but it's possible to reach the Supreme Court with your appeal.
And I like what Patty said. Patty said those are the guys that cops kill when no one's looking. Yeah. Those are the guys that if a cop had a weapon malfunction, no one would really care. Honestly, it'd be like, we kind of expected that to happen, actually. But it's like the other thing is too. Okay. Oh, sorry, Becky.
Okay.
Becky, you had a counter. Go and say
it. Just because I'm not saying in any way, shape, form, or style that whatever it was that crime they committed or that they did is excusable, because it's not at all. But just because they did it doesn't mean that it makes it any more right for us to turn around and do the same thing, which is
why not? Though?
Bottom line is because that makes us just as bad as them.
Does it really though?
The other thing,
does it?
Yeah.
How?
Why?
Based on what?
Death
because
is death.
Murder is murder.
Murder is murder.
Well, okay.
Not really.
Murder.
I mean, we murder people all the time. You're saying, industrial complex of murder.
You're saying
military. Sorry.
Let's we have to distinguish between killing and murdering.
Yeah.
Right? You can kill somebody with your car, and it's not murder unless you deliberately ran them down. Right?
Okay.
One example. A policeman can shoot a criminal in the act of committing a crime. It's not murder, even though they killed somebody. Murder is homicide. Murder is the illegal taking of life.
Mm-hmm. And
I understand it, and I don't mean what I said from a legal standpoint. I mean it from more of a moral standpoint for me.
But my argument with that would be like, morals what? Because to me, morals are like subjective. Like what? Because I mean, where are you getting your morals from? Like, well, what is this? Like God? I mean, what is this? I at this point, that's my reaction. I'm sorry.
No, well, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
the basis of most moral philosophies is religion. When you get right down to it, and I'm not saying that in a critical sense, but that is where most moral philosophies emanate from. Mm-hmm. And in the West, that typically means Christianity or some variation.
Yeah.
Right.
But you also get the eye in the eye, from there. Normally, they would be pro death penalty because, retribution and all that. But
but that's Old Testament too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
The other thing about that is this: putting them to death is the easy way out for them. Locking them up in a cell where where they have to either live with what they did or know that they're never going to see the light of day again is much worse than if we were to take them out back and shoot them.
Well, you understand that these people are not ever going to feel guilty about what they did. So that living with it business, living with it business is a non-starter because they don't give it. They will spend their day reliving their events.
Right, in that sense,
yes, they will be. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Well, they'll be making the case we're talking about is pretty extreme, Becky. Scenes and shit. So,
I mean, we're pretty much described the Sandy Hook shooter if he hadn't shot himself. Right? Did he shoot himself or he was shot? Like, right. How did he? I think he shot himself. Right? He shot himself.
Yeah.
Right.
If he had not done it, shot himself, what would happen to him? Would he be on death row, or would he? I mean, death row and actually executed, or would he just be locked in a cell?
That was what, New York State, New Jersey, New York. Which one of those?
He'd be on death row.
Right? Yeah, he'd be death row, but he was sitting there for a while, wait for an appeal. Good luck on that. He gets denied. All right, let's just do it. I mean, you can make the system so much more cost effective. You could, if they really wanted to. It sounds like Becky, she brings up the moral argument. For the moral argument, I hear this and I'm just like, well, like, when I hear this, I'm like, we spend taxpayer money creating death showers via bombs, and we don't have a say in that. And so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, morality, like what? Like, we might as well, because we can. Because why not? Because it would be justice for all those people, all those victims, like the families that are the families of the victims. They see that this guy got off, or not got off, but is still living and breathing. They just, if he's that degree of a monster, just put him down and be done with it. I mean, that's.
Do you think all those families would want
probably
that person killed?
There might be one or two that may want to
maybe enough would, yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, the history of the human race is the history of killing other people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Literally, I don't care which path you think human history has taken. It pretty much started with one guy killing another guy.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how people from day one to today have solved problems, by killing other people. And on a one-to-one basis, enough of the other guys to make them stop doing whatever we don't like. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got some. Patty brought up something in the chat. What about other crimes? And she brought up she asked a question about rape. You know, I read
Yeah,
a lot of articles.
I see a lot of women who want to not murder. Well, that too. They want rapists to die. A lot of women want rapists to die. And
I mean,
I
kid
see a
rapists,
lot of it.
Kid rapists. If
No.
raping kids,
Any.
I don't know.
Any. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I see a lot of very, very visceral reactions that they want the rapist to be killed. They think that should be death penalty.
I think the state of Alabama.
I'm just saying.
I think was it Alabama or Kentucky? I think it was Alabama passed something just now or recently that is exactly what I was thinking. Chemically castrated. They're gonna chemically castrate people that are convicted of rape if the victim's younger than 13 or something. Like they better have good evidence to back that up too. Like video proof or something. They're really yeah, you did it. You're talking to this 13-year-old. You try to meet with her. And this happened. Yeah, we're gonna just chemically castrate you. You're perping on kids. See, my thing, if you're the sort of sicko motherfucker who's perping on kids, either try to kill them or try to, violate them, then we don't need you. We don't need you in our society. No. Be gone. Go out. Go out to the woods. Look at the flowers.
Yeah.
Stare at the flowers there.
Anybody does that to my kids, someday, after they're released from prison, they won't be found anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I won't be doing a Samuel L. Jackson in A Time to Kill, shooting them up in the courthouse bullshit.
Yeah, that's ballsy, dude.
They will just one day disappear and not be found.
It's harder. You wouldn't be able to bring a gun into a court. I mean, you'd have to get through
Oh yeah, times have changed.
Times have changed. You have to get a 3D printed gun or something.
One of my key requirements on, doing something like that is don't get fucking caught.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how you were talking about the cost of the different executions.
Yeah, I think before.
Well, it's not just cost, right?
Well, no, it's not just the cost.
We could do it so much cheaper. Just look, hold him in the cell for as long as
the problem with lethal injection is that it's a bullshit method that is way more complicated than it needs to be, and way low in effectiveness than it needs to be.
Well, do you know why that is? I do. I found out why.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was some bullshit study done or something by some guy who wasn't even a goddamn doctor, and everybody just said, "Oh, let's do that."
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Am I close?
Well, kind of, but I mean, as far as why lethal injection isn't effective anymore. It's
because too many people are on drugs?
Well, no, it's because the drug company that made the sodium phenolphthalein doesn't make it anymore. So they had to resort to getting that drug somewhere else.
Okay.
And the only other companies that made it were over in Europe, and they made it illegal to sell it to the U.S. because they didn't want their drugs used in execution.
Right. So here's the thing: drug addicts are experts at killing themselves.
Yeah.
They've got that shit down.
Why don't you just give them some fentanyl?
Just give them some morphine. All you gotta do, you don't need this cocktail bullshit. Morphine does it. Morphine does it.
Yeah.
Morphine. Just give them fucking morphine.
Well, they came up with some different options in January of 2016.
Yeah.
Delaware and New Hampshire and Washington decided that it was okay to hang them.
Hang them.
Oklahoma.
Might as well.
Oklahoma, Wyoming, Arizona, and
like
Missouri.
Take them out back in Old Yeller. You know? You think I wouldn't do it. I so would.
Do you realize that the firing squads that they use, they don't tell who has the bullet, who had the lethal round?
Why?
And they do that for a reason.
And what's the reason, Becky?
It's the same reason why. It's the same reason why. Same reason they want everybody to be able to have a reasonable doubt that they were the ones that killed the person.
See, there's some people just can't make a tough decision. Sometimes you just have to do it. Like, look, just degree is a tough decision. I guess taking the life of someone could be like one of the worst, I guess. But then at the same time, those people who push a button and just kill like hundreds. Like, our politicians do that. Hillary Clinton was doing that via like her fucking phone dropping bombs. Obama did that. The presidents do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people, man. So I'm just like, yeah, of course. I can.
Part of it has to do with the proximity.
It does. The proximity makes it.
And how much direct involvement you have, it has an effect. But at the same time, I kind of jokingly said, we have plenty of serial killers on death row. Let them pull the trigger. They'd love it.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't feel bad for a second.
In Texas, since 1976, there have been 536 executions.
Whoa, we didn't boost that
and
number.
And there
up.
are 263 death row inmates.
Too many. Look, we could redesign it. Let's go over look, hear me out. Let's go over their cases. Let's go over their appeals. Let's go over the evidence. If they need to be exonerated, let's do that. Get them out. The prison system is going to hate it because they make money based on the number of inmates, right? But look, if they didn't do the crime, they need to get out of there. Get out of there. We could do this thing.
It's really simple when you put it like that.
But it's complicated.
In practice, it's not.
It's not that simple.
It's really messy. Nothing. Almost no case is that clear cut.
Right.
Okay. Now, like I said, though, everyone gets one. So even if you did murder one person, but like, he just murdered one person? It wasn't a kid? Why the fuck has been put to death? Everyone gets one. Are you going to murder again? And no, I'm good, man. All right, do it. We're going to murder you on the spot. Put a Judge Dredd over at your house. I don't know, man. It's not perfect.
You remind me of an old Mad Magazine cartoon from the 70s where there was this guy, this kid, and some politicians were, really coming down on this kid, and this guy was trying to defend him. And he goes, why are you so upset with this kid? Well, he murdered an entire family. And he goes, well, how many times has he done that? Just the once. Kid makes one mistake, and you won't let him live it down.
Everyone gets one. It was one mistake. Yeah.
But not one, like, family, though. No.
Well, if you're a kid, maybe. See, that's a whole other thing we didn't talk about. What if it's like a 10-year-old? What if it's a 10-year-old who, like, murders his whole family? Becky, I got some questions for you. One in the chat, definitely.
Okay, ask me.
Okay, first off, let's clear the record here. So you're against death penalty because we don't have the moral right to kill someone because it makes us as wrong as they are or something like that. What about Hitler? Like, would you be able to pull the trigger on Hitler?
No. Well, not you personally.
I mean, I would do it personally. I mean, I would.
How about just allowing it?
I'd beat him up with a hammer. I mean, with dull side.
Look, seriously, just in the U.S. Armed Forces, there were some 500,000 guys who would have been happy to pull that trigger.
Yeah. But I like Becky's philosophy, and I'll tell you why. And I'm going to expose some more nerd stuff, especially this wall scroll behind me does. Becky, I used to watch this anime series a lot called Trigun. It was actually one of my favorites. In that series, the main character, Vash Stampede, he's this gunslinger, a badass gunslinger type guy. But he has this philosophy that he can't kill anyone. No one has the right to take a life of another. And he got that because of this woman named Rin instilled that philosophy into him at an early age. And he adopted it. Who didn't adopt it, though, was his twin brother, who thought the opposite. You know, sometimes you have to take care of a spider to save a fly. Sometimes you have to take out someone to save someone else's life. So the counter argument, right? But they can't really coexist.
Right.
I'm digging this because we're kind of like that right now. Wow, Jesus fuck,
right.
I might be a weep. Oh, god damn it. Oh, Knives, you're right. You're right. Knives with his brother Vash Stampede was the main character, and Knives is right, by the way. Knives is fucking right. Sometimes you have to take out a spider to save a fly. Okay. And these.
So the primary function of a government is to protect its citizens from harm from without and from within. That's the primary. That is the basic function of government.
Yeah.
And so to perform that duty, the government wants to have a monopoly on violence. They want to be the ones who decide who gets killed and why.
That's true.
Okay.
That's a good way to sum it up.
And we as citizens have agreed to that over the course of centuries. We have agreed that is the role of the government, and we invest with them our authority to act on our behalf in that role. And at times, the government has decided that some people are just too much danger to exist. They're too much for our society to even exist.
Oh, and Patty brought up a good
and
point.
That goes back to that original philosophy of humans is that, and I would never endorse the death penalty as a deterrent. There's no evidence that it acts as a deterrent. Criminals have a well-known disregard for the law anyway. That's kind of their thing. And so, it doesn't faze them at all. Whether there's a death penalty or not, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Patty brought up some about the government's duty to protect the citizens. One thing is she brought up they closed the psych wards. They did in some places.
Yes, they did. Most places.
Which is not a smart idea. That was a dumb idea. Because
guess where those people are? Homeless. They're on the fucking streets. Yeah. Crazy homeless people. I had a neighbor literally 2 doors down that was stabbed. Elderly husband and wife were stabbed by a crazy homeless person in their own fucking home. This happened.
You tell me about that. Like
a year ago.
You can't. I know people want to be nice and be all like, I don't know, I guess naive about befriending homeless people. They're dangerous. I mean, I'm not saying like
not universally, but it's like saying not all tigers are man eaters. Wait, well, how you gonna tell?
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's still psych facilities, but to get in them, you have to have good insurance. You have to I mean, there's state facilities where you can be on like Medicaid. Or
be a criminal.
But they have limited housing. Good luck getting in. Good luck. But working at one is fun. If you really want some perspective in life, work at one for many years. And you'll see stuff. You'll do stuff. Becky, you'll make some tough calls. You'll have to manhandle people, throw them in a restraining room, and close the door on them. And not give a fuck afterwards. You know what? You made that decision. I made my decision. What do we do now? I mean, you got to make tough calls.
Have lunch? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you did. Have lunch. And sometimes you talk to the clients when they're in the seclusion room. They're like, you know you fucked up, right? That's fun. Anyway. Any other questions that we missed out in the chat? I know people asked a lot of stuff. But I think, did we cover it? I think we did.
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, just a reminder. If you're enjoying this, Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I would say, if you're watching this, if you're enjoying it, definitely smash the like button, share, subscribe, all that. That helps out. Definitely would appreciate that. What else? I see Kyle definitely enjoyed the Trigun reference. Yeah. I knew that was going to come up. Because I don't know how to really... Okay, because you're pretty stubborn on your position. I'm stubborn in my position. But the middle ground to it, especially if you wouldn't even kill Hitler, where is the middle ground? Like, to what extreme does someone have to go to be, like, put down? Like, in
my opinion?
Yes. Like, if someone raped a 5-year-old, would you put him down? Okay, wait. I'm going to call you out.
Not. And that's just personal.
But I'm about to call you out here, Becky. Let's say you have a kid.
Go ahead.
You have a kid. Okay. And this motherfucker kills your kid. What do? Are you gonna try to kill him? Like what are you gonna do? Like, let's say, like, I know your stance on guns. I know you have a gun, you know? We have guns.
I do.
So, I mean, like, okay. So, if someone invaded your home.
Someone
invaded your home with a gun.
Would you be okay with shooting him in every joint, but then turning him over to the cops?
Pretty much.
If someone were to invade your home, like, what would you do? In the heat in the moment. Someone were to invade your home, break in. Would you draw your gun?
Call the police and shoot them.
Call the police?
But you can shoot somebody without a lethal shot.
Then they can sue you, though.
That's not what they train you to do for home defense, though, because it's actually very difficult.
Right.
To wound somebody deliberately. It's a very, very difficult shot. And so when you are trained for home defense, they say, no, center mass, man.
Right.
And because there's been cases where the people turn around and they sue, you know, and some places where they win, which is like, how? What? You invaded the home, motherfucker. But you never know. You never know what happens in the courtroom, right? The jury could be feeling all soft about it. But no one could take the life of another. You know, they're all drinking that from that philosophy that they're all like, no one could take the life. But it was dead. You know what happens? You know what dead people can't do, Becky?
Kill you.
They can't kill you.
Bitch.
And they can't sue you. Dead people can't sue you. Their family could try, but the dead person can't sue you. So you have that. But okay, let's rank it up. Let's say you go home and you find that like I don't know, the motherfucker's already in your house and they killed like your kid. Like, what would you do then? Would you shoot to kill or would you shoot to wound? Oh, Becky,
I don't know.
I got you in the corner.
I'm serious.
Come on.
No, you don't either.
Oh,
no, you don't either.
And the truth, and Becky, I'm going to back you up on that actually. Oddly enough,
listen to Jesse just sad.
Because the thing is that you're very accurate, and you don't know until you're in the moment.
That is
you don't
fair.
know.
You don't really know until you're in the moment. People could talk all tough, but when the moment happens, what really happens, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You hesitate unless you have actual training. And a lot of it, you're going to hesitate. And when you hesitate, bad things happen.
Right.
And so that's probably what's going to happen. Is that you'll hesitate and you'll be dead.
Probably.
But I think Becky would probably draw. I think she would. Shoot.
Becky will damn well draw.
It's not the drawing that matters.
If I draw it, I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay.
I will never draw my weapon unless I'm prepared to use it.
I got what I wanted. Kaio also said. All right, we're back in the corner. Okay. But I just want to say it happens.
I think the distinction that Becky is making. No, it's not. It's not even the limit thing. And let me tell you where your metaphor falls apart. Your parallel.
Okay.
You have a false premise here because the difference is one is in the heat of the moment, and the other is in very deliberate settings of a courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
After the fact.
Okay. And it's also the same thing as he said as murder and killing. The difference.
Okay, well, I was aiming on her. No one has a right to take a life of another. If I can get her on that, in self-defense and in the heat of the moment, okay, then I have an inch. Okay, then if we could distinguish between murder and killing,
trying to get the camel's nose in the tent.
Yeah. So distinguish between murder and killing, which you just did now, Becky. Okay, so I didn't murder the person who was convicted, and I mean convicted. I mean with everything we said before, like the evidence is like he's on surveillance camera. Let's say it's the Sandy Hook shooter, and he didn't kill himself, and it's like you could kill him, or you can stay in prison forever. Well,
okay. Here is my thought on that.
Yeah.
I have to make a conscious decision that someone is going to die. To me, that is pretty much murder. I mean, it's not just killing someone.
But it's not murder, though.
Killing someone is more accidental.
I mean, it's just...
How is
he's
it
being
not
executed.
murder?
He's being executed.
Because it's state sanctioned. It's legal.
Well, that makes it even better, doesn't it?
Oh, what about soldiers? What about soldiers in war? Are they murdering or are they killing?
That's that is how that is how society has been organized for thousands of years.
Well, right? I understand the state I'm talking about.
The state has the authority to kill, and it's legal. That's
then
just
the
how
state
it is.
can make that. Then the state can make that decision, and I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and in that capacity, that's what the jury's for.
Yeah.
That's
but and as we said, I'm not going to be on that jury.
And that's why
they're going to ask me,
psychopaths
and I'm going to go,
like
nope.
myself on the execution duty, whatever. Yeah, I'll just roll in.
You're not a psychopath.
Okay. Who needs to be executed now? No. No, it was up to me.
You don't shoot to kill. You shoot to preserve life in a situation like that. That's a very different thing.
Yeah, But the thing is, we do shoot to kill, though. I mean, we have soldiers in war. What do? They shoot to kill. They're that's.
But I'm not in war. You were talking about me being in a home invasion.
Wow, but I'm saying.
Well, you see, and this is the distinction I was making, is that a home invasion is you're reacting to circumstances in the moment versus sitting on a jury where you spend 6 months probably deliberating over the guilt or innocence, and then the penalty fades.
To me, it's like handing out justice. It's injustice, and if you want to use morality, which whatever is even probably immoral for someone who did something as heinous as like shoot a bunch of kids and teabag them or defile them, whatever, on surveillance. We have it locked down, right? He even confessed. To just have him just be in death row with everyone else, like no, like he needs get rid of that motherfucker. Like. We can make that decision. We can, as a society, make that decision. Now, I understand it could be a slippery slope. Be like, oh, what if we like defined who is a monster in this way or that way? What if we like lessened it? But we have to be firm on this. That the only way death penalty is given out is if it's like the very rare airtight cases. You know what I'm saying? Which is like hard to find. But if it's like that, I say, put him down.
But again, you have to be 100% certain that you have the right person.
Justice.
And we really rarely have that.
Yeah.
Rarely have that.
I mean, I don't know what the stats are on that, but I mean, there are cases that we have definite proof, but then there's of course ones where people just the cops they want to close it as soon as possible because they're pushed to. And like you mentioned before, from the ground up. Sorry,
John Grisham's Innocence Project has employs full-time lawyers who spend their entire job is finding cases where the wrong guys have been convicted. And it's not just about DNA, although a lot of times it is. Finding guys who were convicted before DNA evidence was available, and then finding out if they're wrongfully convicted. But sometimes it's about false confessions. There was a case in San Diego where these 3 or 4 young sailors were interrogated in isolation for so long that they ended up confessing and believing that they had committed this murder of a woman who lived a few doors down from one of them, to the point that years later, when they were exonerated, some of them still believed it.
Yeah, I mean, from the ground up, there's a lot of problems where, police are definitely.
So you can't just go around, well, he's a problem child. Let's get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't recognize that happens. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it can't just be a confession. It can't just be in my situation. I'm saying it can't just be a confession. It has to be there's a confession, but we see him on camera, and it's him. Like, let's say it's so.
Well, it'd have to be a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is that these wrongful convictions aren't rare enough.
Well, that's why. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be one thing
if you could say, "Oh my God," every 10 years we get the wrong guy thrown in jail. Mm-hmm. That's one thing, but it's happening, with regularity.
It does, and I'll be watching Nick Ricada tonight after this podcast. I watch him pretty much every night, on the morning too. Nickel Kid is a cool dude. I've been following him since the beginning of his channel, back in the Maddox versus Dick Masterson. I was surprised he actually agreed to come on this show and talk to us one night. I was like, I thought he was doing us a favor. I was like, holy fuck.
That was great.
Yeah, he was doing charity work. I was like, God damn it. This is great. I didn't fanboy when he was on, did I? I didn't like get weird.
Yes, you did.
Oh, come on.
No, you didn't get weird, but you fanboyed.
Oh, shit. God damn it.
You asked him out. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, you got drunk and told him you loved him and everything.
Did he say yes? I don't recall that.
Well, no, he didn't say yes. He's married.
It's okay.
Are you dating him now?
I don't know, man. Secrets. I don't know.
You better buy him a big diamond.
Yeah. I know the way to his heart. He likes whiskey. I know the way to his heart. Oh, man.
Okay. Can I read you something real quick?
Yes. Let's read something. Let's change gears.
Oh, it's not changing gears.
Okay.
Okay.
There was a study done by Columbia Law School.
That said we need to kill more inmates?
And they found... No. They found that there were serious mistakes in 2/3 of all the capital trials.
Should have killed him before. Then be like, oops.
These trials were... The defendants were sentenced to death anyway.
Yeah.
And their cases were appealed over 80% of the time.
You mean overturned?
Oh, man.
On appeal?
Man, that's not looking good for my case
Don't
here.
Kill them all?
Yeah. You know, it's like Pokemon.
Nope.
Gotta catch them all, gotta kill them all, you know? You just
gotta do it. And you know, that's pretty astonishing, because even getting with the death penalty, you automatically get an appeal. This is true. But in other cases, it's really not easy to get an appeal. It's really not, to even get heard on appeal. Because you have to be able to, a lot of times in a lot of states, you have to show that you didn't get a fair trial, basically. You could come in a lot of cases, you could come in and say, oh, we found this guy who's going to say he did it, and they'd say, too bad.
You know what?
That wasn't in the original trial, and everything in the original trial was followed to the letter, and nobody screwed up, so we're not accepting new evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. That stuff happens. So, what? Maybe I should slow my roll and not roll out the Judge Dredd program? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you're going to start shooting judges, maybe.
Wait a second. Yeah. Whoa. Do you want to stay on YouTube? In Minecraft. We love our judges.
I really, I was on a jury just a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed that. And the judge was a cool guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to wrap up this, I guess this debate. I mean, this is fun. I think we kept it fun and entertaining. It's very serious topic. Yeah. So I still am for it, but it's in certain situations. In those situations are kind of like what you feel, and they would have to be based on. There would have to be so much evidence that there's no way you could deny it. And I know there's rare cases. Okay, so then it's rare. Let it be rare. It shouldn't be issued all the time. It shouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
But okay. I'm still surprised that it costs us so much for an execution. You would think in America you'd find a cheaper way to do it. Oh.
Part of that is the stupid billing for the government.
So Kaya, we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30. You can also Jesus Christ, I guess the Scotch is catching up.
You
can also catch the stream on afterwards on the podcast, the Deadmanstome podcast, on any podcast app like iTunes or Castbox or what have you. They'll be uploaded like the night of, so you get it in the morning. So, yeah. But yeah, you can catch us live.
And also on Thursdays.
Also on Thursdays, we have a live stream of Real Monsters where SK talks about, SK and the co-host Wes talk about serial killers and murderous maniacs and stuff like that. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely enjoyed you watching. I know you're a fan of Nick Rekitis. You're going over there. It's his time. It's time to shine. Okay. That means I guess we got to pack up too.
I want to go home.
Oh, man. Do we have like a caption or anything? Do we have a question for like the group?
Nope.
Okay. That's okay.
I didn't.
I'll go home.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this episode. Like I said, it's a serious topic, but we had fun with it. We made it entertaining, like we normally would with any other serious topic. Remember that night we talked about abortion? Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, the chat did not like that at all. And I was like talking about where you can find ghost babies. I mean, if you really want to look for a ghost baby, where are you gonna go? Right? Come on. If you really want to test out paranormal activity, where do you go, Becky?
Deadmanstome.
Oh, okay. Just leave it there. Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button.
Hills?
Share. No, I was going to say Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood. Behind any Planned Parenthood, you should be able to find all sorts of babies. To be like fetus babies. To be like the weirdest thing you'd ever detect on.
Ew.
Like, if the paranormal stuff worked, right? If you could see it, I don't know how that stuff even makes sense, but if let's say it did, they should have so much activity there. It'd be amazing. But, you know, they don't. Anyway.
You're derailing.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, smash that